lot.
Right.
And my follow-up question is, all of the properties and the buildings and all of this equipment and stuff that these programs that the government has initiated and paid for with all of our tax dollars that are not really necessary, what are we going to do? What's going to happen with that?
Well, what will happen with that? You know, this is what happens. First off, in order to get the very best price that we can get from your assets, we the people, we will have a big auction. There will be auctions to auction them off to get the highest price. So when we sell those off, then we'll pay things down. We'll pay the people back that have money sitting there from putting away for your Social Security. That's the best way to get our asset base back. And there's, I don't know, until I get there, how do I know how much we own, right? How many airplanes do we own? How many big buildings do we have? You know, I think people might be frightened to think that they would lose jobs, but what we have to remember is that we have really stagnant, routine rut jobs in this country. I've worked with government agencies in the type of business that I did for 30-some years, and they're bored. They're sitting in their cubicles. They're unhappy. When you have unhappy Americans, you have an unhappy country. You have more crime and terrorism when you have a poor economy. And you have that also in a government office or any office. When you have people that aren't happy, people are running around talking about each other. They're unhappy. You get people creating new values, producing those new values. And people will be happy to go to work. We'll teach them how to have what we call a job of the mind, where they take the individual seed of greatness that we all possess, the genius seed, and become more than they've ever wanted to be. They did at one time believe that they could be something great and that they would bring value to the society that they live in. They're going to get it back because I see it across the nation. It's coming in already. So those assets, they're ours, and we will sell them to get a handle on the spending that's been done for decades, actually hundreds of years.
Well, that's great to do. That's really great to hear, Jill. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. It'll be my pleasure to do that.
Mr. John Schmark, do we have any comments you'd like to bring up to Jill Reed?
Yes, Jill,
Questions?
it's been a real passion of mine. I was, as a child, my father was in the education system, and he always talked about how the over-influence just, the future is our children. And the future is us learning new things and us touching new ways and finding new ways of doing things. I've come to realize through this that, there's really no problems that exist, only undiscovered solutions. So when people, talk about how would you, with education, there's just so many ways that it's just being strangled and our future is being harmed that way. How would you, as far as education, what are your thoughts on how we would let these teachers teach integration? And that's the basis of releasing these geniuses of society that we hear about. So a genius-free society is much more able to take care of us than the political environment that's currently trying to take care of us. They want us to think they need us.
Okay, so your question to me would be, what would I do with our education system to make it right for the children who are the future of a country, just like we were one day?
I'm a father,
right.
You're a mother.
Certainly, yeah, and my sons have already been through the education system. And quite frankly, if anything should come out about my family, it would be that both of my sons dropped out of high school. Quite frankly, because they were brilliant minds and they were bored. They did go back on their own and graduated, not GED. They went back on their own to do it because they wanted to do it. Now, were they any happier going back? No, they did it out of routine rut, just like we do jobs as adults. Okay, there is specialized thinking being taught now. Memorization, things like that are not expansion of the mind, like you mentioned. That learning, constant learning, is where we're naturally good. We're naturally curious. Human beings are naturally curious. That's what separates us from most other animals. We have a conscious mind. We can use them. The problem, the only thing really wrong with the education system today is the same with big government. There are too many people at the top that are robbing the system blank, flat, busted, because they are taking dollars that could be used to bring in new technology to schools to expand these brilliant minds. Every generation gets smarter. It's proven in the DNA code. Let's take advantage of that. Let's let these kids rise up. Let's teach them what we call integrated thinking, which would be 2 and 2 is 4. Now I've got 6 of these. No, those wouldn't work here, but this project over here has 6 of this that might be in a completely different industry that would give me a perfect 10. You want children's minds stimulated. You want the administrative pared down. And why shouldn't we have, honestly? When we have a system that can continue to take from us the same as any other, they will continue to take the money. They'll continue to put it at the top. When they can't just keep taking for our schools as well, we will have more competition to drive the degree of education. We'll have these teachers. Last night I was in the hotel lobby and I met this couple. They were teachers from Texas. They said, "What are you going to do about it?" I said, "Set you guys free to teach. You're held back right now by the administration within your school system, like everywhere across the nation. The children are capable of learning. Let them learn. It doesn't require that you go back for a master's to teach a 3rd grader. It's not right. Let them teach. Don't go become a master's degree to get a better pay. There's a big difference there." So I hope I've answered your question well enough. It's just the difference between specialized thinking and integrated thinking. We'll teach them to get a hold of the money-making essence of business, just like you can an adult. And a child could become a businessman at the age of 9 or 10. Most of us did, somehow or another. We were lawnmowers. We had the Kool-Aid stands. We worked for people cleaning. So, you know what? It's time to clean it all up.
Anthony, would you like to share any comment or input to Jill?
I think you were right when you said, yes, you really can't wait till 2016. I just hope we get enough people. I was telling Steve earlier that we are basically forming a mastermind here this weekend. I think more people are getting exposed, so I just hope we get enough behind the cause to get you in the White House this year rather than 2016, because it will get a lot worse before it gets better. It's going to do that in any case, but I think it's more urgent now that we have a third-party president, particularly 12 Vision's party president.
Well, you know, I think that's a good comment. I think what we've got to remember that's behind us is the American public is just waiting for you to all come out and speak like I have been to them for a year. Okay? When they hear it from you now in your states, and you get before your media, which by the way, you've all just done, you're highly capable. Most of you might even know the answers to the questions you've asked me. Therefore, you could be prepared. You just witnessed what I did. You can practice. Practice does make perfect in anything we do. It's up to us to be the grassroots movement, like you just said. However, in 2008, 40% of the people, according to some statistics, were considered independent. Okay? That meant there was only 60% left for the other two parties that have basically ruled the world. Okay? President Obama, rightfully so, became president by getting 18% of that independent vote. Without it, something could have been different. We are the candidate of choice for everyone. We're not here to influence the other two parties. We're here to make it a better world for each individual. Okay? So when we tell them, we're here to make all the people wealthy, including the poor, and here's how we'll do it. We have a microcosm of a computer industry that's lightly regulated, and the values continue to go up and the prices to continue to go down. And we'll see that in every industry. When our message is consistent with what it's been from the founder, Mark Hamilton, since 1992, his message has been consistent. When we simply take that out and others hear it, like the man I met at a Lowe's store in North Carolina, who completely understood the difference between a value creator, value producer, and a value destroyer. The American people will vote with us because they know they're a producer or a creator. They are not the destroyers. Only when you take from another are you a destroyer. It happens in relationships of all kinds across the nation. I just urge people to watch where you stand at any given moment of your day. And when you guys are out there being value creators in your own communities, we win, period. You need to go before the press. You need to write letters to the editor. We have a man in Indiana. They are publishing everything he writes. Everything. It can happen across the country, and it will. This is the year. There is no time to wait. We don't need force-backed health care plans because they're not health. And people are aware of that. The division happened this year. We are good. We know it. There's a ruling elite class and the rest of us in a non-ruling class, whether they're a self-made millionaire or the poorest of the poor, our seniors on fixed incomes with rising costs. We know what we need. We are smart. And 2016 is too far, like you say, but we've got one heck of a start.
I do have one more comment. I think after the last two administrations, the Republicans and Democrats, I think more people are aware that they've pretty much had it with both parties. And maybe possibly I'll look into the third party in any case. So this could be the best opportunity as well.
It is. You're right. The line between them is no different. The Democrats I can love because they care about the people. They're like the people. We care. We want them to have enough or more than enough. So we'll take from another person to give it to them. That's the different thing that is hard for me to fathom because we can all work hard and do well. And over here on the Republican side is the fiscal responsibility, which I can appreciate being a numbers girl. But they're so much alike, they're not even doing anything for the people. They're just taking either case. That's the problem. I'm here to lift people up. I'm not here to provide for anyone because we can't. We're going bankrupt doing it and we know it. So when we can let people know that we're teetering on the edge, what are they going to do? They're going to go to solid ground. Just be the solid ground.